if you do hold it in pikes, if you do get some serious time, then sometimes it can end up in just a round there and then. Because, yeah, as you say, if you've got a sword, if you've got someone holding pipes, very difficult to break in through from the turbine area. So you have to start to look towards attic to try and break through, going up the stairs, or working with someone who's going to actually go up the stairs as you go through attic. But again, very vulnerable to grenades. You need someone to almost be an anchor point to try and help from across the map over towards top control. But then, if your 3 teammates die when you're top control, you're left. You have to just wait. You have to wait for them to spawn, and there's so much ball time that's been accumulated when that does happen. So you've got to keep a keen eye on what's happening on the map, and you've got to be prepared to dive across that map to help the rest of the team if things go south. We've also seen a lot of teams set up towards the elevator area or A area if you're used to kind of playing strongholds. That's when it gets a little bit more scrappy, because grenades come from everywhere. You can very easily bank those nades off the stairs over at elevator as well, and you can just see a whole team explode to grenades if you hold it just in the wrong place over towards elevator.
Something we did see yesterday when you and I were watching some of the games in the watch party is we seen COD players up against Witchblade. They held the ball very successfully over towards top A in that turbine area, and what they did have was somebody, like you mentioned, anchoring from top yellow, putting shots on anybody trying to overextend. Is that something you need to look at if you're going to try and break a setup? Perhaps for one team, having a guy holding yellow to have those extended sight lines, but needing to shut that person down in order to have a successful push.
I think yellow is one of the priority positions in the map in general, whether you're holding the ball there or whether someone's anchoring to try and help the players on the other side of the map. And not just for ball, for strongholds and for Slayer as well. I just think it is such an important place to position yourself, but you do leave yourself vulnerable to getting into a long-range BR fight from control. And if you get de-scoped, it becomes a little bit difficult to try and retake that fight. So you have to back off, but nades can come through that door. You need to have a player who's confident in hitting their shots from a distance, that is going to relay that information of who's pushing where.
Well, who's pushing where? We're going to find out. We haven't got long to wait. Recharge Oddball winners semi-finals. Here we go.
Here we go, indeed. And already off the rip, TwoFoxy's been taken down, and that camo has already been picked up by someone. So you can see that Jimbo just trying to scout out where it might be. An energy sword is still up, but we'll see whether someone grabs that a little bit later.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. We're seeing players shift towards this oddball now, and we're seeing a lot of players over towards that yellow. 3 members down now for NaVi. Respectful, the last man alive has to just milk for as long as possible.
Yeah, at this point, when you are the last player alive, you've got to try and give your team the best spawn as possible. If you can spawn them towards long haul here, then they can push towards that pipes area. They can try and get up towards attic. He's at least got a couple of spawns here, and now they run together. Nice nade from Jimbo.
Yep, first pick comes through. SLG also falls, but on the other side, Jimbo and Kimbo have fallen by the wayside as well. So for the moment, it's going to be a 2v2 as NURIX has just come back off the respawn. There's not going to be much of a push here, and we're seeing that repulsor being used to throw that player back towards pipes, but ball has gone with him.
I think one of the things that 343 said about Oddball in Halo Infinite is it's about scavenging. It's about getting that time when it's there and when it's available. You're not always going to have the perfect setup. And how many times have we seen teams who are getting outslayed but still win Oddball because they do just pick up that ball when it's there and available? And we're seeing it right now from TwoFoxy, securing some nice ball time. He's got good assists here from Respectful as well. This is working all right for NaVi. They pick up at least a little bit of ball time to catch up.
Yeah, an interesting point you raise. You see, with the round change now, the differences in Oddball, you only need 100 points now. So every scrappy second you get is another percentage you are towards winning the round. So Sword, though, double kill comes through for Kimbo. Can he turn it into a triple kill? Fragxr wisely decides to back down to live a fight another day. But that's going to be some big, big confidence for NaVi, who are 4 up.
4 up and waiting for this camo to pop, and Respectful will grab it. Now, he can be sneaky. He got confused by that body, I think, there. Just about scarpers away. But when you do have camouflage, you've got to play your life very carefully. You can make such a huge difference at breaking a setup, so you've got to make sure you push in the right time and in the right areas, or position yourself to be there for a collapse on another team or ambush another team. You can really catch them off guard.
Respectful also has the Mangler in his back pocket. Of course, a one-hit beatdown as well. A couple of shots at the back of TchiK, who's desperately trying to be as evasive as he can, but he has got the help, does Respectful, and Fragxr also has to back down as a result of that. So ball down, bottom middle. It's honors even at the minute, but 43 seconds to 19. These early engagements have gone the way of NaVi.
Nice early time for them at the moment. They just need to now kind of milk a little bit. bait that ball, allow OEX to start desperating it, wait for that kill when they do try and pick up the ball, which has just happened, and then you can start to generate a little bit more time. If they can get away to blue here, it would be massive. It's not always the most optimal setup here at blue, but the fact you can play it means it's a very kind of desirable place to set up with the ball because you can just reset so quickly.
Well, 4 up now for this push. First blood has gone the way of OEX. Kimbo is also going to fall by the wayside. Play ball, and that's exactly what you want in that situation. So heads up play by NaVi. TchiK, the last man alive, but he's going to have to just try and play his life for the rest of his teammates to spawn back up.
Yeah, and look, they got the play, and now they all spawn on the side of the ball as well. So there was such a big commitment from OEX to try and push and stop that ball, but now they all find themselves on the wrong side of the map, and they won't get any time because of it. And that timer is slowly ticking down. Now, of course, there are changes. It does go to kind of sudden death. If you're holding the ball, the timer will pause, but we have seen scenarios where that timer does come into play.
It can be so frustrating. You see NaVi trying to get their hands on the ball too. Foxy, unfortunately, is the man that falls there, trying to desperately try and pick up that ball. But 66 seconds now on the clock. They're scoring all the while. And every single time OEX break the setup, they're frustrated because the ball either gets played or it's not in a position where they can score some real points. So this is great play out of NaVi.
And don't worry, your headphones aren't broken. The sound is being worked on. It will be there for you shortly. We also don't have any sound right now. I thought I was going deaf for a little while, but it's okay. We can still watch the action unfold. Pardon? Who said that? 71 to 19. It's quite a significant lead for NaVi right now.
Yeah, I have decided to cut the sound because all you get to hear is my and Dan's silky tones. I've made the decision for everybody. But we're seeing balls set up towards this. Pipes here, you're going to be dropped. Sees that sword. Desperately tries to stay alive, but unfortunately, Kimbo is going to fall with that sword. 3 dead now momentarily. 2 Foxy last man up and not in a position to help anybody. This should be and is time for OEX.
And you were saying you wanted to see TchiK step up, and we heard on the podcast say that, you know, he's really turned a corner here. 8 and 7 at the moment. He's the highest kills on his team. Really has been the difference maker for OEX, and they're starting to put some serious time on the board here.
Yep, clawing this one back ever so slowly, but unfortunately, they're going to see a couple of kills there. And that is going to stop their ball time just a little bit as this push comes through. Mangler being used again. Killing spree for TchiK. He is deciding to go off. He's starting to heat up. That's exactly what you want to see if you're OEX. But NaVi only needing 28 seconds. They don't need to desperate for this time because otherwise they might see their misery compounded.
Yeah, Jimbo was the last alive, but does just patiently wait for Kimbo to join him. And now the Kimbo-Jimbo train is going to push through here, but they are going to be running straight into a sword.
And here is that sword. He goes to the lunge, but it's going to be a bull through, and that is not what you want to see. If you are a NaVi fan, Jimbo scarpers out of there, gets himself out of dodge, trying to hunt down this ball who's expertly rotating away from him. That's going to frustrate them just a little bit, but he's going to run into 2 here, and that's going to be the end of his life and end of his run. More seconds for OEX. They're really starting to climb their way back into this.
It's going to be the killjoy as well. So I think TchiK was just on a little bit of a tear there. Important just to knock him down a peg and not allow him to, you know, get too ahead of himself. But at 80 points now, NaVi are getting closer and closer to taking round 1. Camo's up, so they're going to fight for it here.
Balls decided to drop down. It's going to be a little bit of a 2-for-1 if you can get the Kimbo as well. It's going to go towards OEX, and that's not going to be good news for the boys on NaVi. Going to be in Turbine. Can he get the kill? Yes, he can. TchiK takes down Kimbo. That's going to be huge for him as he turns his attentions towards Respectful. 2 Foxy lines up in his sights as well, but wisely decides to back down and play the rest of the life with the Camo. Puts a couple of shots into 2 Foxy. So now we're seeing OEX really start to dictate the pace of play.
And there you go, your headsets are fixed. We've got some audio now, and you've got to be careful if you're NaVi here. 3 down, Kimbo the last alive, and time's slowly starting to tick even more in favor of OEX. Got to group together. Make sure you're all making the same push. You don't want to just position yourself, where you are solely pushing one by one and getting absolutely destroyed by OEX and their setup. You've got one last push in you now as they take over to 90.
This is that setup we talked about. SLG playing that anchor over towards top yellow. TchiK puts an end to that push though. Jimbo immediately cut down. That's going to make this push a lot harder to get through the door. Kimbo falling as well. The writing is on the wall. That's going to be 100 points. Round 1 goes towards OEX. And although NaVi look good in patches, OEX are starting to step it up.
Yeah, OEX significantly outslaying NaVi towards the end of that one. NaVi just weren't able to keep hold of that ball for enough time. And once OEX got that setup, it just wasn't able to be broken by NaVi. And with it just being 100 points, it is so difficult to try and, you know, link together more than one push when it's in those final moments. If you don't make it, you are probably going to lose that round.
You know, I missed it when there was no sound. But now we do have some game sound. Camo as well in the chest of Jimbo, starting to just survey the land. Gets a kill there. Player down to no shields. Not upset with that, just rotating around the place, getting information all the while. Downloading. all this information, trying to find players to spot out for the rest of his squad. Does find one, and isn't going to lose his life as well, so that's lovely play out of Jim. Is out of camo, but did get all that information, and they're getting some ball time to boot.
We have seen OEX win this game type, and it was in the early stages of last week's winners bracket, and it was just so comfortable because the amount of slays they output. But when they faced up against Cartel, they didn't have those same slays, and that's why they really struggled. Cartel dominated the map. However, here against NaVi, OEX do seem to have the better when it comes to slaying. They've just got to make sure OEX don't allow NaVi to get too many perfect setups, because if they allow them to have that ball in pipes, that time will tick over. But OEX now, arguably, have a good setup to work with.
Now that through the eyes and ears of SLG, ball in hand, racking up more points. Starting to close the gap now on NaVi once again. They have got a little bit of a setup here as well. NURIX over towards top yellow. That's going to be good for them as he anchors once again, putting down any damage for any man brave enough to cross his line of sight. But we're seeing NaVi just play a little bit slow. Jim loses his life again in that push, the first man down. That's going to stop their push again.
It's another setup towards top elevator, and this mangler can be so detrimental to any pushes. Similarly to the sword, you can hold an angle and you can surprise various enemies who are going to unknowingly push around that corner. But for now, SLG, even though he put so much statistics on the board last week slay-wise, he's still trying to rotate this ball.
Love this from SLG. Rotate ball over towards sword now. Gives you the opportunity to play ball if you need to. But there's just no pressure on him whatsoever. Two Foxy's going to fall as well. TchiK in the corner. Kimbo comes charging in, but does not clear his corners. What he could have needed there was maybe a dynamo grenade, one of the sizzle sticks, but unfortunately no. Camo is in the wrong chest of your NaVi. It's in the chest of NURIX, who puts down some damage, enough as well to get that kill with the help of TchiK. Mauler in the hand. There goes two. Two Foxy's going to hit the respawn screen. And SLG, all this time, all the while, Dan, scoring points.
And just look at the movement with the ball as well. I can really appreciate someone who knows how to manipulate the map and how to move around the map in a way where you can score more points in what does become a game type where you have to try and scavenge those points indeed. 84 on the board now. This is going to be difficult for NaVi to come back from, but it is doable. They just need one of those setups that feels somewhat unbreakable. But at the moment, they just can't get on top of their slays. They can't get to the point where OEX are 3 or 4 down. OEX seem to always have 2 players up, and NaVi just aren't able to break through that.
NaVi now in the back of their mind, they know that any mistake they make from here on out is going to be detrimental to their cause as 2 Foxy goes down. Ball in a little bit of no man's land out down on Catwalk 1. Shots get received. He's at the back down. Does have the use of the grapple to help him out. Jim, though, is unfortunately going to fall. That's 2 members down. This could spell more time, even more time, for the boys on OEX. Only needing 16 here to solidify this game 1 in their favor. Grapple being used. What a play that was from SLG. He's so slippery, like Batman traversing the land over here on Recharge.
I've never heard Batman described as slippery before, but I guess he is. He is very much a slippery man as he manages to take down all of the villains.
You haven't been talking to the villains. That's the people you need to be talking to. But as we're saying that, we're going to see 100 points scored for OEX, and that's going to be game 1 going in their favor. Fantastic performance out of OEX, really able to shut NaVi down.
Yeah, just NaVi getting heavily outslayed there. Unfortunately for them, OEX just always had the positioning. There was always someone anchoring and doing real damage from a distance. And then it was all about that movement from SLG. For all I talk him up about his slays and how much damage he is, he outputs, and how much of a difference maker he is when he's actually putting stats on the board, it was all about his ball time. It was all about his ball movement. That boy knows his way around the map. And it just was unfortunate that every single time that NaVi tried to break that setup, SLG went, you know what, I'm going to be a slippery snake. I'm just going to take this ball over to blue. You've got to follow us over to blue. As soon as you manage to kill me or you manage to kill my team, that ball's going to be off the map, or I'm going to dipsy-doodle you and I'm going to head somewhere else. It was a one-sided affair. I don't think NaVi really were in that game at any point, apart from the very start of round 1. OEX were slow burners there, not quick out of the blocks, but once they got heated up, boy, were they terrifying.
Here we go as we begin to load into our winners semifinals. There you go, Shersy, you got it in the end. Live Fire Slayer game 2 with NaVi have it all to do. Backs against the wall. They're on the ropes. They need to win it here.
Got to happen here and now. And from the start, of course, the sniper is going to be the focus for so many teams because the overshield doesn't pop straight away. So instead, you are going to make sure you grab that and push accordingly into the garage.
Well, respectful.
Camo is what I meant, sorry. Not overshoot.
No, you're okay, Dan. I forgive you. Sniper rifle, though, in the hand of Respectful. And one thing he's not is in a forgiving mood as he puts down SLG, attempted to push. 2Foxy also has the heat wave. They've got all the cookies now. They're starting to crumble our OEX. But Sniper rifle, it should have also a camo coming towards their position if they possibly secure this. I love this from Respectful, though. Using the sniper rifle. Look at that. He looks away for a second and TchiK takes that and just scurries away. Robbery.
How many times has that happened, by the way? Just when you look away, that one player will nip in and steal it from you. So that camo could play a big part. No scope, though, is decent from Respectful to allow him to get the kill. And that's how the sniper is used on this map. It's very up close and personal. You don't always get those long-range shots with the sniper. Instead, it becomes a little bit like a shotgun jersey. And if you've got someone who can consistently hit those body shots, it does become a terrifying weapon.
We're seeing sniper rifle will transition now. They have shut down Respectful before he could get ahead of his team, but he has done quite enough with that sniper rifle. 4 kills and only the 1 death, so you would say he's been quite efficient with it. And now OEX still find themselves ahead by 1 kill as we move with the sniper rifle over towards this dummies area. And NURIX finding the face of that player Kimbo and also turns that into a double kill. Finally shut down, but what a shot that was.
Yeah, at least Jimbo was there to clean it up. Heatwave in hand, one of the most powerful weapons. I spoke about weapons that are similar to a shotgun, while the Heatwave does remind me a little bit of the scatter shot, can really be the difference maker on this map. If you consistently look to try and find it time and time again, your KD is going to improve, I promise you. But at 14-14, nothing to separate the two at the moment. It has just been a little bit of a back and forth, not too much structure. It's kind of everyone running as a unit on both teams. Neither team trying to set up per se, but it's not an easy map to set up on when it comes to Slayer. There's 2 desirable locations you could try and set up on. You could set up towards the tower side and spawn that one team towards garage.
Just writing down a note. Pick up Heatwave more to improve KD. That's going to be important for me later on in my matchmaking games, but the score now very, very close, 18-17. Nothing to separate these two teams as we head towards almost a halfway stage. That's exactly what you want to see if you're NaVi. Keep yourself in the game. Don't let it get away from you. Where Heatwave has transitioned over towards Jimbo. And he's just looking to play a little bit patient now. Over towards these brute nades. What can he do? What can he get cooking with the Heatwave?
It says a lot as well. If your KD improves holding the Heatwave, that just shows how impressive the Heatwave really is. And
really
the Mangler can do something similar, up close and personal. The one shot into melee can be so detrimental to those who are pushing into you and don't recognize that you're around a corner, but good shots coming out from both teams.
Yeah. 1 man down a piece. Make that 2-3 now. As 3 members of NaVi do fall, but Respectful. Make sure that, although he's the last man alive, he makes the turns that tied just a little bit, making sure these teams stay neck and neck. 23 kills apiece now, and we will see the power up very, very shortly. Sniper rifle in Respectful's hands once again. Gonna try and play a little bit of defense. Keep his eye on it this time, and hopefully he doesn't YY at the worst possible time, as we're seeing 2 members go down at the least favorable time as well. Sniper rifle position towards top tower, hits that body once more. Not in a position to get the finish though. We are going to see this power up in 5 seconds or so, and we're seeing Respectful trying to get out there. He's been hassled, he's been harried by a player over towards this tower. He has got 6 shots remaining as well. Starting to slow down just a little bit. These teams separate only by 1 kill. What can Respectful do to be the difference maker? Kimbo picks up that Heatwave, that could be huge. They've now got both of the toys to play with.
The game does naturally slow down as well, shows you when a camouflage is popping, because both start to set up around it. There's the Heatwave used in the horizontal way rather than vertical this time, and that can connect with it. It does spread your shots out a little bit further, so you're more likely to miss. But if they do connect, you can get that beat down afterwards, but on that occasion, not working out for Kimbo.
It does hit, it just doesn't hit as hard, but hitting hard right now is OEX as they pull away by just the 1 kill. Very much neck and neck. Make that 2. Heatwave though. Kimbo couldn't do much with it. And TchiK turns a double kill before losing his life. And it's going to be Respectful in a very similar situation, the last man alive.
And I wonder whether OEX are going to start to break away now here. TchiK with 11 kills has really been a nuisance to NaVi. Every single time they go around a corner, TchiK seems to be there with something that's going to pin them down or take them down. And it often involves a melee as well. Melee's so strong in Halo Infinite. If another thing that you want to improve on, Richie, just get in people's faces and start meleeing. At the moment, the melee damage is huge, especially with the likes of the Mangler, and you combine it with things like the Heat Wave. VR Shot should finish this off. And now, you know, it's still winnable here for NaVi, but it's certainly going to be a nervy game.
Repulsor used, but not pushed far enough right up against the door frame, and he still loses his life instead. 37 kills out of 38. All this action has gone down, but both these teams still neck and neck. In the eyes and ears of Jimbo now. What can he do to turn his fortunes around for this team? They need to win it here, or they will be heading down towards the losers bracket once again.
It's about minimalizing deaths for NaVi now. Kimbo having 12 deaths. He's just been pushing out a little bit too much, getting caught out too often as well. He does have the most assists on his team, though, so don't take too much from his KDA, but at 41-41, bottom middle's not really where you want to be, but one thing NaVi are doing very well is they're sticking together for the most part. As I say that, though, Kimbo's going to be up ahead, trying to lead the charge with the Heat Wave once more.
This one's a real nail-biter. Real challenge. SLG had no idea there was a player positioned behind them, and he will lose his life as a result of that. Jimbo and Kimbo, the wombo combo, combined once more to pick up an extra couple of kills. 45-43 now. Camouflage as well, very important, is gone towards Respectful.
And as I said earlier, 100% win record for NaVi. They've played it 3 times across the last 2 tournaments. They've won it 3 times. And they have to win this game to stay alive in the winners bracket. If they lose it, they drop down to that lower bracket. So we've got to see some big kills here.
Big kills coming through. Can Respectful get the finish? No, he can't. SLG shuts them down, but they only need 2 to OEX needing 4. What can be done here? One more kill, it would seem. 2 Foxy trying to make sure he can be the player to provide that 1 extra kill. They can trade this out. This is perfect, and yes, they do. Respectful is the man to get the finish. Huge kill there. 1-1 in the series. We're all tied up.
Massive for NaVi. We did mention earlier that the only game they've won against OEX is a Slayer. They've yet to win an objective, and they prove here that they do find some comfort when it comes to those Slayer game types. And it seems Livefire Slayer seems to be one of the best for NaVi. That's 4 out of 4 now. Still a 100% record here in tournament play. And I think if you're looking at those stats, if you ever face them on Livefire Slayer, you better believe they're going to come and bring the heat, and sometimes bring the Heat Wave, because it did play a huge part in that game. Respectful though, 17 kills, 11 deaths. I think a map like that is perfect for the kind of players that NaVi are. They love scurrying around bottom middle, catching you off guard, getting up close and personal, but when they need to, they work together as a unit. They will push out, they will get into the open, and we've got some good snipers on the team as well. So even though I say, for the most part on this map, the sniper can be utilized up close and personal, you can still hit some shots from distance. So much about this game is about melees. It is about getting in the face of your opponents. And if you've got a weapon that can allow you to get a 1-hit beatdown, it really can be the difference maker. It can allow that double, it can allow that triple to pick up. The same is likely what the Mangler can do, what the sword can do in a 1-hit beatdown. Even the sniper, sometimes. There is so much things on these maps that you've got to be making sure you prioritize. The Stalker Rifle even makes a massive difference when it comes to Streets as well. 3 shots to the head from a distance. You can outshoot someone with a BR if you're hitting every shot, if you're being accurate. Sometimes you'll get someone anchoring top C with that Stalker Rifle. Again, might be one of the reasons why OEX are saying, hey, let's hold C and B so we can consistently get that Stalker Rifle.
Yeah, something I do expect to see. A man that can hit his headshots is SLG. He'll be sitting up and around that top C. He'll lick his finger, he'll calibrate the wind, the rotation of the planet, and he'll start lining up those shots. And SLG has been huge for this team. And on the flip side of that, NaVi, do they need to shut him down early before he gets cooking?
I think SLG is an interesting one, because you say he's an IGL, and I understand that he can IGL, but when you look at SLG, I don't see a leader. And that's no disrespect to SLG. I see him as the main Slayer who I would rather not have him thinking about in-game leading decisions. I would rather him just be let loose to be that massive Slayer that they so desperately need sometimes, and maybe give those reins of decisions to someone else. Because how many times in other esports have we seen huge teams actually have players really suffer because they're an in-game leader, because they have so much brain power going towards where should we be pushing, where should we be holding the ball, what strongholds should we be getting, and not all of that brain power is going towards the slaying. Well, let's hope the brain power is going towards the slaying right here, right now. It is going to be
Game 3 of your winners finals. This one's for keeps. Whoever wins this does advance, and unfortunately whoever loses it will dip down to the lower bracket. So all to play for here in the early strongholds, going over towards OEX and as well as the Rockets in SLG's hands.
Rockets could be really important here. The grenade actually gets the initial kill. With C being held at the moment, it's A and B that are going to be the priority positions, it would seem, for OEX, but they're going to lose B. So are they going to move towards C, as you said? Are they going to prioritize it? It does look like that's going to be the case. So A and C is not really the setup you want to have, but you can accumulate points with a setup like this.
Very much have the per man setup do OEX right now, but all they'll care about is they continue to score 25 points as it slowly starts to tick up in their favor. 2 Foxy goes down, but 2 members down for OEX, and that's when you start to see NaVi transition that A towards them. But once again, Fragxr recognizes this. He goes for B.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you've got someone who is able to commit to B time and time again and win the fight. Great help, but ensuring that you grab that stronghold, you prioritize B, and here is that B and C setup. Now it is there, it is ready for OEX. We'll see whether they can hold on to it, but it looks like NaVi have already pressed up on B here.
Big fight goes down here. We're seeing 2 members down, make that 3 of OEX. This is the time where NaVi need to come alive, and you've seen Jimbo hit those shots. Killing spree for him as well. Interesting to see a man on the killing spree is on the receiving end of a 40-odd point deficit. So something that they need to look at now, but they're starting to score and they have a little semblance of control as Fragxr falls to the hands of the man Jimbo. So lovely shots coming out of him, and he puts that to a +6 for him for the round.
Yeah, the Stalker Rifle doing Stalker Rifle things. You don't even need to scope in. It can just do some serious damage if you are consistently connecting with the head. Great help here towards B. But maybe OEX recognizing that NaVi were going to go for the A and B setup rather than trying to always take that fight at B. They've pushed the long way round. They've taken A, but NaVi reacts so fast to take C off of them to continue their scoring.
Jim has not fallen, and of course, as soon as I say that, I apologies extended to you, Jim. That's my fault. I'll hold my hands up. So Kimbo will fall over down towards palm trees. That's 4 dead momentarily for NaVi.
Yeah, so they should be able to secure B here, and they know that they're going to be spawning C, but look at NaVi straight away overextending towards purple ramp. They want to rotate, and they want to try and take A back off them. But with the rockets being picked up, this could be really difficult for NaVi to push through.
Kimbo falls again, this time at the hands of Fragxr, who is ultimately sacrificed. 2 strongholds still in favor of NaVi, though. They're going to keep on scoring. They're back within touching distance of the boys on OEX, so playing very, very well now. They're starting to come to life.
I've got to ask a question of NURIX. They had control there, did OEX, and they saw NaVi rotating round, and NURIX decided he was going to try and push C when they were rotating round towards A, and it just gave NaVi a player advantage. Yes, Kimbo was anchoring, but NaVi were able to break that setup entirely because OEX overextended a little bit. It looks like for now, it doesn't matter too much because they've regained control of A and B. They're forcing NaVi into C, and it looks like they want to collapse on this one.
Just getting word, the answer to your question, NURIX has said, oui, and he's going to help his team push through here to C, capturing it now all the while, but still 2 strongholds in favor of OEX. Make that a triple cap as 2 members of NaVi go down. Kimbo and 2 Foxy coming back off the respawn. Jimbo replaces 2 Foxy on the map this time, but they keep getting staggered spawns and not able to push as a unit here, Dan.
B is being taken. If they get Kimbo off B here and get the reset, it'd be massive, but Kimbo has done enough to secure B. Rocket's coming up in 2 seconds, so that's a priority for both teams right now. You don't want to focus too much on strongholds. You need someone who's going to look towards those rockets indeed. But the reason why we see OEX currently winning this game is because they've got those triple caps. They have pushed, they have been aggressive, and they picked up a severe amount of points because of it.
Boomsticks in the hands of Respectful. What can he do with them? He's hesitant just a little bit here. He knows how important these can be. Doesn't want to push and donate them over towards OEX. He's on the stairs position. Can he find the entry kill? Gets a little bit of splash damage there, but it's not going to be enough. Does get the finish onto that one player positioned over towards top A, but unfortunately 2 members down for NaVi. They're not going to make the most of them.
NaVi trying to take A, but Foxy actually retreating, recognizing that he had to stay alive. He had to try and get the spawn and work out how he was going to get closer to Kimbo, and by doing so, allowed Kimbo to get the kill. So great play there from 2 Foxy, not being too aggressive holding the stronghold. But this is the power of the Bulldog, gets the reversal and gets the reset.
In it goes, barking top A, ensures he can make top A stay in control. A and C still in control of OEX. They're going to keep on scoring, ticking now just to over 150 points. So NaVi have it all to do. Only B in their control and the per-man setup for OEX.
Well, they're going to try and take B whilst NaVi are going for A here. So NaVi need to get some nades into B. And interestingly, Foxy is going to try and kind of sandwich OEX by taking C here. And then they're all going to try and collapse on B at the same time. This is an attempt, I think, to try and catch up with scores, go for that triple cap as well, because B is now being taken.
That's going to be a tasty sandwich for NaVi, with OEX in between the bread. And they're hoping to take a massive bite out of this score if they can. 3 strongholds still in their power. And A, although half complete, looks as though Fragxr is not going to be able to do enough to make sure and ensure that does transition over towards them. They are going to be able to get B here, so that will stop the bleeding just a little bit. But the damage has been done enough. They've clawed back at least a little bit of score.
Good positioning, though, from NURIX, who may actually be able to pick up a nice amount of kills at this point, does get the double. And you've got to really play your life successfully when you are at B and you know the other team's coming storming towards you. And I love the positioning that he had there.
See, battle goes down. SLG is the man who falls NaVi to a full strength, full complement of roster, but unfortunately, no. 2 Foxy loses out there, and how big could that be? Rockets down over towards Tires. Who's going to get their hands on it? Desperately, you see Respectful trying to be the man who can put that game into his hands, but unfortunately, he does fall. But I'm not sure that TchiK knows the Rockets are positioned there.
No, that doesn't matter, because SLG's managed to find them. B is slowly being taken, but they get the reset, so now it's going to be about trying to secure A here for NaVi. They're still holding on to C all the meanwhile. One thing NaVi have done very well, they have consistently kept OEX battling for B whilst they've been able to just rotate between A and C, making this an awkward game for OEX to try and overextend, to try and be their aggressive selves, but it is still a significant lead, 174 to 86.
26 points is all OEX need to punch their ticket to grand finals. Oh, sorry, to winners finals, excuse me. Look at me getting ahead of myself. Winners finals. But we do see NaVi scoring now. 2 members down for OEX. So they've got everything they need, NaVi, to put some more significant scores on the board.
It's also 76 points, but I mean, I don't want to be a mathematician.
250. No, you're right. No, you're right. You're dead right.
No, it's fine.
No, you're right.
No, it's fine. I know that your maths isn't your strong point sometimes. It just happens when I have a co-commentator. Onset was the same. B and C have now been taken, though, by OEX, and this is really going to start to rack up those points as long as they can hold on to B. But Kimbo seems to always be here. Jersey, every single time he's there saying, I'll take B, he leads the charge, and he is making it so difficult for OEX to rack up as much points as they would expect.
Shots go down, though. TchiK should and does get that kill. That's going to put NaVi down 2 members as 2 Foxy comes off the respawn. Momentarily, they wear down by 3. Kimbo gets that finish onto the player, though, and will start to transition A over towards NaVi control. 3 members down now. Last man up in A. That's going to be a big trade, but he did get the reset, did he? No, he didn't. We're going to see who can come out on top here now. This game's really starting to cook.
Yeah, TchiK doing really well to ensure he took out Jimbo, otherwise this was going to be very detrimental towards OEX. But they have taken A, but in the meanwhile, NaVi did rotate round to C and are still holding B. So NaVi, I'd say the decisions they're making as to when to push each stronghold has been a little bit better than OEX, but because of that period earlier on in the game, the triple cap and the points that OEX were able to accumulate, that's why they still have the lead here.
Drop shield went down for Kimbo. Unfortunately, though, 1 nade evaporated that right in front of him, so not able to get the cover that he did require. There will be a trade as a result of that. 2 strongholds, though, for now, and only for now, as it does transition over towards OEX, and they're going to start putting more points on the board. But NaVi are showing serious signs of life here, Dan. They've pushed right back into this.
3 dead, though. Foxy the last, having to spawn Jimbo somewhere. It is going to be over towards C, so quite rightly, OEX recognizing that, and they will take A off of them. And now for NaVi, it's about pushing out of C here. It's where they go. They do like to try and go up purple ramp, but Jimbo's going to have a little venture towards the red ramp here, but does get spotted out. And again, that's about positioning, just ensuring you are in a place where you can catch the player off guard who's going to push up ramp.
Jimbo did not clear red there, unfortunate for him, but 2 Foxy does win that 1v1 engagement and will start to transition B, but unfortunately, no. He is shut down this time. And SLG playing defense, clearing house over towards Arcade and make sure that Respectful is the last man alive for NaVi.
At the very least, NaVi have at least got A, because OEX once again went for the triple cap and they gave up A spawns, they gave up cafe spawns, but they're still scoring and they're so close to 250 here, which would be a place in that winners bracket finals.
They only require 10 more seconds. NURIX puts Respectful in the grave and ensures he's going to transition A as they lose C. This should be here and now, but we're seeing big kills come down from SLG. Triple cap to put the final nail in NaVi's coffin. It's going to be OEX who progress. NaVi drop down.
NaVi dropped down to the lower bracket, and it was the Commando at the end, just bullets raining through, and SLG also putting some bullets into the body after Jimbo had gone down, just to assert a little bit more dominance as this OEX versus NaVi rivalry continues to develop. But it's OEX who get the one-up over NaVi once more. That's now 3 times in tournament play they faced each other in a best of 3, and it's 3 victories for OEX. For NaVi, they'll drop down into the lower bracket and they'll have to hope that they get one more stab at OEX a little bit later, potentially in the losers bracket finals. But they've got a little bit of a run before they get there. There's the stats though, Richie, and a fantastic performance from everyone really on that OEX squad. They all did their part.